Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to This is the G Podcast. Episode 160 is in the building. Before I bring up my co-host, I'm Tommy B. I gotta say, happy 94th born day to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., born on this day, January 15th, 1929, born in ATL. And of course, the national holiday began November 2nd, 1983. And just growing up in Atlanta, I grew up in ATL and going to school at H.R. Butler, which formerly used to be back in the day. It's no longer actually there. It's a lot across from, if you know, Selena Butler Park near Sweet Auburn, Old Fourth Ward, going to the King Center as a kid, Butler Street YMCA. This weekend is always very special to me. And I'm just here to tell you, it is without a doubt, as a native, it is always a special weekend when we celebrate the King, because Atlanta celebrated the King, as did many other Southern states, especially predominantly Black Southern states, before it became a national holiday. So give it up to those cities and those states that were very much involved in celebrating the King before it was a national holiday on November 2nd. 1983, the 40th year coming up in November 2nd. So again, hats off. And, we'll let it slide, the fact that Reagan signed it, but, either way, we got it done. So again, this is the G Podcast, episode 160. Give it up. The one and only Tanya B is in the building.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I am somewhere in
Always
America.
somewhere in America with the piping hot tea. The one and only Tanya B, host of the Bird Wire, every Friday and Saturday night, 8 p.m., 10 p.m., Saturdays at noon. And again, if you don't have a chance to actually catch the Bird Wire live, you can still catch it on demand at
Hmm.
castropolis.net. The new episode is there. So, Tanya B, I do have to say thank you so much. You played the King Dream chorus in the show this week. So, I got to give you a shout out for there.
Hey, I play it every year.
And it should be because the amazing thing, and you and I, and I don't like to kick somebody when they're down. I don't like to beat
I
a
do.
dead
No.
horse. But back in the day, man, artists were just so involved and so engaged, and so community relevant. So shout out. I'm glad you shouted out the one and only Curtis Blow for putting together, hearing the voice of Stephanie Mills and hearing the Fat Boys and all those
Whitney.
artists and Whitney Houston.
Yes.
When Curtis was on the show with us a couple of years ago, and we
Yes.
talked to him, and one of the questions I asked him, I said, "Are artists as relevant and engaged as they were back then?" And he was, he kind of gave the politically correct, answer, which I respect him for. It's kind of like that was his day and this is their day. They do it in different ways, I guess.
Oh,
Social
but you know
media.
what? I'll say this. He tried to do
Yeah,
something a year and change ago. I think it was 2 years ago when
yeah,
John Lewis passed away. And granted, we were in the midst in the throes of COVID,
hmm,
and I have the song, and they did the best that they could. But the artist of say today, so to speak,
yeah.
he had to go back and get the Roxanne Shantays and people like that because these young people, they didn't understand really the depth of what it all means.
Yeah.
So
Well,
he's still
yeah,
trying.
yeah. Well, good. I'm glad he's still trying. So, with that said, and you and I were talking about, we were kind of tweeting about why record sales, um, the library sales are so much better than current sales.
Hmm.
When they looked at, as a matter of fact, if and just for the audience, they look at the beginning of every year how previous streams and sales were for 2022. So
Right.
this year, 2023, they're looking at 2022, and the thing that just keeps coming up is the old school
Hmm.
stuff or the library is outselling the current music. And I think, honestly, I think it's because it was just so much better and so much engaged. There was so
Yeah,
much
absolutely.
involvement.
And
Yeah,
and one thing I also want to say is when you talk about shout out, I want to say shout out to Stevie Wonder because he campaigned tirelessly to make King Holiday with his happy birthday song and things along that line. And that
absolutely.
people often forget that he stopped performing and recording for a 3-year period to solely focused on supporting the King family and getting the holiday made into law.
Yeah, very good, very good. So
Mhm.
many stories behind, all the effort and all the people who were behind getting that holiday, indeed a holiday, which actually this would be the 40th year on November
Yes.
coming up November 2nd, 1983. And amazingly enough, we got to do in February. I plan to have some folks in. We'll talk about it. Your guest, the one you recommended, but also this is
Yeah.
the 50th year. 2023 is the 50th anniversary of hip hop. So
Yes.
definitely we
You know,
want to talk about that as well. Go ahead.
oh yeah, and one other thing I want to say, I'm not in town today, but as you talked about the whole, right now, like Atlanta is King City, so to speak.
Hmm.
And although I will just say, I won't say where I am, but I'll just say I did not get caught up in all the traffic and the shutdowns that occurred today when President Biden actually delivered the message at Ebenezer Baptist Church.
Hmm. Well, yeah.
So
Atlanta just, and I saw this in the news today. The city has to do better when it comes down to these when they have dignitaries coming through, shutting the city down, shutting the highways down. They do a poor job. It's already bad. Traffic's already
But
bad.
nothing happens. But they I think the place where they really dropped the ball
Yeah.
is alerting the residents, especially in those neighborhoods that are affected. So
Hmm.
where let's just say, I know I'll be real quick. If I live downtown, they're shutting down 75, 85 from the airport to wherever the dignitary is going. And
Yeah.
there are still people, especially people with limited mobility, who make doctor's appointments and just make arrangements to go out and do things, and they have no idea. And then when that time comes, those few hours before, during, and after, they don't.
Mhm.
It's almost like you're landlocked. You can't go anywhere.
Yeah, it's crazy. But again, I'm gonna say this, and this is for another show.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important. All these cities who don't want black folks coming into their cities because of MARTA, who want to prove MARTA, who want to complain about traffic, don't complain, because you have the power to extend MARTA, to extend that train, and you won't. So I'll leave it at that. Okay.
Okay, let's do that.
Let's
Yes,
do
because
that.
like you said, that's a
That's a
whole other
whole nother
show. That's
show.
a whole other show.
People
Yeah.
wonder why traffic is so bad. I'll talk to you about it. We'll talk about it on another show.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What's up? He is here. He is shaking his head. The pride of Mary Persons High School, Forsyth, Georgia. Give it up. The #1 Bulldogs fan in America. He is in the building.
All right. Yay.
Go
And
Dogs.
fresh off the road from Athens. Tell the truth.
Let me ask you that, because
Go
I kept
Athens.
it's Vi and our good buddy Howie. We do it's our sports text chain, and I was telling them, I was like, man, I'm worried about TCU. If the dogs don't come out and hit them in the mouth from beginning to end, they might have a problem. Guess what? They hit them in the mouth from the beginning.
We did more than
So
that.
they hit him in the mouth before they left the locker room. Let's
did it,
call
Bruce.
a thing.
We
a
did it, Bruce.
thing.
We did it, Bruce Lau. How y'all kicking him out?
I know
They couldn't recover.
it was Bruce Lee. Oh my God! It was
Jim Kelly.
Jim Kelly. It was just Pam Grier,
Like they was
Foxy
they was
Brown.
They was
Oh,
on
don't
the
forget-
sideline telling the coach, "Hey, coach, I don't want to go back in there."
Whatever it
Them
was.
big-
Oh
them
my
big
God!
them big limes now. We don't want no more.
But
see they
shout
second
out.
string? So they
You know,
second
I'm-
string bigger than their first string. We don't want
That's
no
what
more
I'm talking about. I'm pulled because I spent 7 years in Dallas and Fort Worth. So shout out to my folks in Fort Party Worth. I know y'all are not happy about that beatdown, but Fort Worth, damn.
They should be happy. They have. What I thought they were happy that they made it.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that's
So Fort Party Worth, don't worry about it. It's all good.
Hey.
Fort Worth.
Mhm.
Definitely happy that they made it.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get to some another piece of news, but I got to ask you a couple of things. But it was crazy to me, and I got to say this on this podcast. Okay, I was not happy with the way ESPN, especially one show in particular, handled the Monday after the beatdown, because immediately they focused more so on the comment that Pollock made about Nick Saban, about Alabama. They were talking about Alabama on Monday when you know what I'm saying? When Georgia had won back to back. It was just
Because,
disrespectful to me.
Alabama is the
Yeah.
chosen. That's their team. That's ESPN said Alabama's their team. Now, if
Yeah.
we take over, because we ain't their team now. We don't show ESPN a whole lot.
Because you know what? I've never seen Kirby really interviewed on any of those shows.
It's always Nick Saban.
It's always Nick Saban. So it was just disrespectful to
It
me
was.
for them to spend that much time talking about Alabama on Monday after, what was it, 65-7?
Yeah.
You might as well had talked about the Carolina Panthers for all intents and purposes. It's like, really, dude, really? And
Yeah.
I am sports illiterate.
I mean,
Yeah,
what
but
we gotta do? If
it's
we
crazy.
win
I
the
don't
game
know.
next-
That's what I'm saying.
If-
What-
look,
That
if
was
we win-
wrong. That was wrong.
if we-
That was wrong.
it was wrong. It was
If
wrong.
we win next year, y'all can talk about Alabama again. I mean, what we got to do?
And you know what? Somebody pointed that out. As a matter of fact, when they were having the conversation back and forth, one of the players, one of the former players, former NFL players, was in on the conversation, and he said, "Well, what does Georgia have to do for you?" I mean, they just decimated TCU. They won back to back. What do they have to do?
Oh, you know why? They decimated the Christians. Don't listen.
And they all- and they
Let's talk
always-
about.
And
TCU,
they always bring up
okay.
what they always
Yeah.
bring up the wide receiver. Who cares?
Yeah, I
He
know.
played. He just got knocked out. That's part of the game.
Even talking about the fact that even talking about the fact that Stetson's 25, it was just like, y'all just pulling this out your ass.
Think
What
about
is
that.
this about? It was just
The beginning-
crazy.
The
stuff.
beginning, but they
Oh,
were
he's
saying
25 years old.
but what
They're
they were saying,
haters.
He's
They're haters.
eligible.
What would they be seeing in the beginning of the season? They ain't
I
gonna never
know.
win no championship with him at there.
That's what
Never
I'm
win
saying.
the championship with Stetson. But all of a sudden
Yeah.
he 25. Dude, get over it.
Get over
What
it.
they
But
say, we playing with 19 years old. Them ain't no 19-year-old kid. Majority of them
No.
20, 21.
That's what I'm saying. I
Or
agree.
Man
more.
up. Man
Man
up.
up.
More.
Man up. There you go.
That's right, man.
A couple of other things, just real quick, and we're again, I'm in the Atlanta area. Tiny B's on the road, Vi's in Columbus, so we all kind of represent Georgia, and it was sad to wake up this morning to hear about the deaths of and the families of Devin Wilcock, Chandler LeGray. They had just had the big parade in Athens.
Yeah.
As a
Car
matter of fact,
crash.
we tape on the Sunday, that Saturday. So, two of these guys killed in a car crash.
Right.
There were 4 people in the car. It happened at 2:45 a.m. 2 others, I'm assuming they are probably still listed as stable.
Right.
But
The
after
player-
a huge
yeah.
celebration, go ahead, Vi. Fill
the
us
player
in.
died. The player died on site. The coach, he died. The coach died at the hospital.
Wow.
Mm.
I mean, I'm just thinking about that boy family. He's only 21 years old.
I know.
Life just
And-
started, and they, you send your kid to college. The last thing when he hit that, he died over there.
Right, no, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
whether there was somebody who was on that team 1, 2, 3, or 4 quarters, that it's a group, it's a team effort, and maybe I think about just like you said, being a parent, and losing a child, in that way when you come off just that's a high, that's a good high, if you know what I'm saying, and then to have your world just crash down like that, I can't even imagine. And then the way that they said they did die by, you said one at the hospital and on site. One thing people don't always think about what that body looks like when you have to go there and call a parent. I want to tell them that your child or your whoever has passed away, but you gotta go identify that body.
Yes.
And if that doesn't shake you to your knees, to the floor, I don't know what will.
I mean, I wonder, did he fall asleep on the wheel or what? Because they say he went off the road and hit 2 poles.
Yeah.
And what poles and trees do not give.
Well, I'm going to say this, and we'll move on and get into just a couple of more things, sports related. While I got you, Vi, I didn't get a chance to talk to you last week. But one of the things I will say is driving around, as you know, those rural roads around Athens ain't no joke. They're not, because you and I, Vi, we have we spent money at UGA. We had a kid at UGA. So driving back and forth, those roads at night are dark, jet black. Not only that, you're dealing with the deer on the back road. You got to constantly be looking out for deer. It's no joke driving, especially that early in the morning on a lot of those back roads, especially this time of the year, especially when you've got these temperature, these gaps where it gets, early in the morning, you got the fog starting to come up right around that time, that
black
dew,
ice,
ice, so just, definitely without a doubt, our condolences and prayers to the UGA family, to the families of those young men, to the families, just in general, who celebrated all that day Saturday and had to deal with this. So just a couple more things by NFL, man. I got to say this, and not only is it King Holiday weekend, it's a huge sports weekend. NFL is just in full effect with Wild Card weekend. Right now you've got San Francisco will either play them, and as we tape, we're watching Carl Banks's New York Giants take on the Vikings. And Jaguars are on the way to play Kansas City. Buffalo's going to play tonight, as we hadn't gotten to the game yet. The Ravens and Cincinnati.
Not sure about the Jaguars, but it's more like it's going to happen.
Well, yeah. Well, Jaguars. You think it's? Kansas City. They do play Kansas City next week, though, right? They moved on.
Not quite. It depends on who will win between the Ravens and Cincinnati.
Okay. So we got to wait to see.
Yeah,
and of course, go ahead.
Win, they play Kansas City, but if Cincinnati win, they play Buffalo.
Okay, got you. And in addition to that, you've got the winner of, as we tape again on Sunday, Monday night, you've got the Cowboys, Tampa Bay, and the winner. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Vi, the winner of that game will go on to play Philly. Is that correct?
between the Tampa Bay and
the Cowboys.
I
Philly
think
had a
if
bye
Tampa-
this week.
I think if Tampa Bay lose, they would pay Philadelphia.
Okay,
Now, if
got
the Cowboys win, I think they won't play Tampa Bay. They won't play because the lowest seed is going to play Philadelphia.
Okay, got you. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
and can I just say this?
Go ahead,
I had to connect flights in Philadelphia,
Mhm.
and even in the airport. When I tell you one thing, I'll say about Philly fans, they are very loyal. And when I tell you this city right now, because they get to play the home games because they are number one in the division.
Mhm.
I mean, Philly right now is lit, and if these
They
Eagles
should be.
No, they are no. I'm just saying, but I'm talking inside the airport. I couldn't even imagine what was going on downtown or down in South Philly, where the venue is.
Yeah.
But man, I think it's next Sunday they play. What next weekend they play? I'm telling you, if you're not in Philly, I suggest you not come close to, because you saw what happened, how they tore down the street poles.
Oh yeah.
In the awning of the Ritz-Carlton when they won the other year. So I just shout out to Philly. One thing I say about Philly, when it comes to music and sports, Philly fans are extremely consistently loyal. Got to give them that. And I'm going to get a cheesesteak tomorrow.
But you know what? I got to say this, and I'm gonna make my pick right now. I've got to say, and we can't say the SB word because NFL gets all pissed off when you use we got to say quote unquote big game. But in the big game, my pick, I'm gonna go ahead and pick now. Y'all can pick later on social media, but I'm picking Kansas City and Philly in the big game. That's my big game.
About Philly because Jason's still hurt.
No, but see, Jason gonna be all right next week. Then I'll see if they lose next week.
Hurts?
Hurts is still hurt. Yes, he is.
Hurt?
Now, if he does not play next week and they lose, trust me, he gonna play the next game. So they better get some cortisone. They better call Reverend Ike, Peter Popoff with the holy water.
Not Peter Popoff.
Yeah. Okay, Benny Hinn. Y'all better lay hands on that brother.
Well, he playing next week now. Don't worry about that. He playing next week now. I'm
gonna wake up at BET at 3 a.m. and get me some Peter Popoff.
No, let's say for the OGs out there, Tommy B, we are going to resurrect Reverend Ike. Okay.
Oh no, not Reverend Ike.
Not the Ike. Not the Ike.
We're gonna resurrect.
I'm gonna get the cloth.
We're gonna put a prayer cloth and some Vicks Vapor Rub and some Icy Hot on his shoulder.
How many of y'all grandmas got that prayer cloth?
Look, that ain't the one that says, "Hey, that ain't the one that says something from nothing from nothing leave nothing."
Look, hey, Reverend Ike has so many sayings, y'all.
Let me say, Reverend Ike
in front of the Rolls Royce.
Yeah. With a little boy in the back seat, allegedly.
Nothing from nothing leaves nothing.
There you go. All right, y'all. All right, let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and let's do news. Let's do news with Syracuse Mike, and we'll come right back. Here we go.
Oh, God.
Assemble! It's time for the Week in News with Syracuse Mike.
President Biden has finally made a trip to the southern border. He arrived in El Paso Sunday. And Texas Governor Greg Abbott gave him a letter with a list of complaints.
I gave the president a letter outlining the chaos that his refusal to enforce the border laws has caused in the state of Texas.
The grand jury in Fulton County has wrapped up their probe into whether then-President Donald Trump and his allies illegally tried to overturn his defeat in Georgia's 2020 presidential election. A hearing is set for January 24th to determine if the final report will be released to the public. Another grand jury could eventually pursue charges against Trump and others. The White House is confirming that classified documents from President Biden's time as vice president were discovered in a private office space and turned over in November to the National Archives. The documents were found while Mr. Biden's personal attorneys were packing files housed in a locked closet at the Penn Biden Center, which Biden used occasionally for several years until the start of his 2020 campaign. President Biden says he is as surprised as everyone else.
I was briefed about this discovery and surprised to learn that there were any government records that were taken there to that office. But I don't know what's in the documents. My lawyers have not suggested I ask what documents they were.
Mr. Biden's first comments about classified documents discovered at a think tank he founded. Former Vice President Mike Pence called the discovery of the documents from the time when Biden was VP incredibly frustrating. He said the handling of that situation compared to the handling of the documents at former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate was a double standard. He said Trump's home was raided by agents. We should note that Biden's attorney discovered the classified documents at a private office in November. The National Archives was immediately notified and took possession of the documents the next morning. That's not how things were handled by Trump or his representatives. However, Republicans like Kentucky Congressman James Comer also remembers what Biden said about his predecessor.
I just know that he said it was very irresponsible for President Trump to take classified document to his personal residence and have them in an unsecured location, and it appears he did the same thing.
People know I take classified documents and classified information seriously.
According to several media reports, more classified documents have been discovered at a second location by aides to President Biden. A source says Biden aides were instructed to search for any additional classified materials that might be at other locations. Before Wednesday's acknowledgement, the House Intelligence Committee, now under GOP control, requested a damage assessment concerning classified documents discovered in November in an office once used by Mr. Biden after serving as VP. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says the president is cooperating with the Justice Department. However, Wednesday, he was focused on the First Lady, who was being treated for skin cancer.
The president accompanied the First Lady to Walter Reed National Medical Center for her scheduled outpatient procedure, commonly known as Mau's surgery.
At least 6 people were killed in Alabama, with reports that 20 tornadoes touched down in the state Thursday. In Georgia, areas north of the mid-state, including areas south of Metro Atlanta, were hit the hardest. Governor Brian Kemp declared a state of emergency. LaGrange, Griffin, Jonesboro, Lithia Springs, and College Park all reported structural damage and injuries. Back in Alabama, the National Weather Service in Birmingham reported that a large and extremely dangerous tornado caused damage as it moved through Selma. Thursday, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced the appointment of a special counsel to look into the retention of classified documents from President Biden's time as vice president.
President Biden's personal counsel called Mr. Lausch and stated that an additional document bearing classification markings was identified at the president's personal residence in Wilmington, Delaware.
The documents had been stored in the president's garage at his home in Delaware and an office space in Washington. Robert Hur, a former Trump-appointed federal prosecutor and former top Justice Department official, has been named to head the investigation. It appears that Garland is trying to protect his department from possible accusations of political conflicts or interference. Another special counsel is already investigating documents found at former President Trump's estate. Elvis Presley's only daughter, Lisa Marie Presley, has died. She was rushed to an LA area hospital after she was found unresponsive by her housekeeper, according to TMZ. Presley became joint heir to Elvis Presley's estate with her grandfather and great-grandmother after he died of a heart attack in 1977. She even married Michael Jackson in 1994. Lisa Marie Presley was 54.
I think a lot of people were shocked and amazed at the Lisa Marie Presley death, primarily because she was at the Golden Globes just a couple of days before.
Yeah, but she was also unsteady and she didn't look well either.
Yeah,
but
she didn't look well.
We'll get that in the tea. I got something on
Okay,
that for you.
all right, we'll go into that. And also, again, we live, I guess we can call it Tornado Alley South and Southeast, and just prayers and shout outs to all our folks, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, of course, Tennessee, South Carolina. I was talking to somebody because, of course, we're getting hit with all these warnings, the watches, the instability in the weather. This is just too early. We're talking about the beginning of January, and it's crazy because whenever I hear it's going to be like when you wake up to 70-degree temps, it's not going to be a good day in January. And these temps go from 70 one day to 40 and 30 the next day. Yes. All that instability, and typically we're waiting for this right around March, late February, April. Then it kind of dissipates, and then you get June. Spots until June, July. But this is just way too early, for something like this to go on. I live, of course, the Henry County, McDonough area. The schools shut down. Shout out to our good our friends and fam out in Selma, Alabama. Shout out to a good buddy of mine, Willie J, and of course one of our listeners, Karen Renee, her fam's out there. And it's just so many people along the route, and it's almost like it started in Selma, and it just kind of skipped its way on the path all the way across to Georgia. So you're going to say something, Tanya B. Go ahead.
No, I just said Dr. King was not pleased this week.
No,
that's what y'all need to recognize.
it was just
a sign from the King.
Instability all week long, definitely.
Yeah.
And this grand jury, and I'm going to say this, y'all. I don't want to hear about no more. Why we got to hear about more grand juries being formed, and more investigations? We got the phone call, y'all. Just make a decision. You know what I'm saying? I'm just burned out on the fact that we got to do it the right way. We must do it the right way. Oh my God, another grand jury. Now the grand jury now is the grand jury to kind of hear whether or not they want to make the information public. So I guess on the 24th, the grand jury that just wrapped up is supposed to let us know whether or not the information from their grand jury is going to be released to the public, but it doesn't do anything in terms of whether or not they want to go after. I know you're looking at it, you just glaze over. I just glaze. I'm like, what are we doing? What we wait now now Biden's in trouble. So
wait, and his son. Don't forget about the always into something Hunter Biden. I'm sure Joe's
that's
pissed.
what I'm saying.
Joe got to be pissed with him.
But you know what? For me, y'all can have Hunter.
We don't want him. We don't want him. We don't want him. We don't want him or the stripper baby mama. We don't want him.
That dude. He smells like trouble. This.
He should have been a Kennedy. Sorry.
There's something up with him. But anyway, what were you gonna say, man?
I was like, why is Biden in trouble?
But I mean, I'm just saying, it's like, okay, here's the thing, and I'm gonna say this. Biden, they handled it the right way. They weren't ignored. Like if somebody called you and say, they called Trump and said, hey, Trump, hey, Mr. Trump,
give us
click.
And then Trump had the nerve to go on TV and said, "That's my stuff. I keep it if I want."
That's
to.
what I'm saying. No. Biden's doing the right. At least Biden's doing the right thing.
He refused to turn his stuff in.
I mean,
he refused to turn his stuff in. That was the big deal with him.
Trump treated these people like bill collectors.
They only sent the FBI because he refused to turn.
Trump treated these people like bill collectors. The National Archives called Trump. He said, "Who's this? New phone? Who this?"
No hablo English.
Biden, they got loans to Trump.
That's what I'm saying.
And his children.
You know it. All right, y'all. But anyway, it just seems like 2023, we ain't gonna be talking about a whole lot of politics because it's just gonna be some stupidity, some ignorance
they
going
keep
on.
Trying to find anything. We just can't be. We can't be normal. We just, if the Democrats are they against that, it's a good idea. But since they're against it, we gotta go against it. We can't.
But I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna put it out there for me. I'm not gonna put it out there for y'all. Hunter Biden, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
You know what he reminds you of? Remember,
it is what it is.
What was Jimmy Carter's brother's name? Was it Billy Carter?
Billy Carter. Billy Bear, all that. Yeah.
Ain't nobody worse than Billy now. Billy had Billy Bear.
No,
Billy dead. But you know what's ironic? You know Van Jones was married to Billy Carter's daughter, right?
Oh, Lord. No wonder.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll come back. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and do the tea. All right, get your breath, Tanya. Here we go.
The Harold Michael Harvey Book Collection is a collection of books about civil rights in America, told through the eyes of people who envisioned it and fought for it in the days when hope unborn had died. Black History Month is coming in February. And now is the time to step up your reading game with books that goes inside the issues. As the Negro National Anthem puts it, that with a steady beat has brought our weary feet to the place from which our fathers sighed. The Harold Michael Harvey Book Collection will prepare you for a meaningful discussion of Black history with an eye towards a Black future. The collection includes Justice in the Round, Freaknik Lawyer, The Duke of 18th and Vine, and My C.T. Vivian Story. Books are available at haroldmichaelharvey.com.
Now then, children, it's time for tea.
It's tea time, y'all. Sipping the tea with Tanya B.
Tanya B, y'all may as well just get your bumper sticker now.
Which one?
The one that says Hunter Biden, it is what it is.
Okay. No, I'm getting a t-shirt.
The t-shirt, it is what
coffee
it is.
mug, yeah, all that stuff.
What you got?
All right.
Tanya B?
Well, we're going to start out this week on a serious note. We want to say, prayers up to the family, friends, and fans of friend to this podcast, Will Downing, on the sudden loss of his daughter earlier this week. No cause of death has been revealed. And honestly, just out of respect to Will, I am not going to reveal what has been shared with me, because I understand there's nothing worse than the death of a child. And it was sudden. And, it's just his child from his first marriage. And, again, talking about somebody being a consummate professional 2 days after he was in Arizona, having to deal with his daughter. He kept a concert commitment, and he did a concert last night to a packed house in Redondo Beach, California. So, they're saying, no one wants to bury a child, but the show must go on. So, Will's a friend to this podcast. Got to, say prayers up to him and his family. That is devastating.
Without a doubt. Prayers go on.
Yeah. And NBA player, perpetual cheater, and baby daddy Tristan Thompson lost his mom earlier this week to a sudden heart attack. And it's interesting because, you can tell when people just want to be there. But those damn Kardashians, I believe they used it as a photo op because they all want that close to him or his mama. But anyway, so now I want to talk to you about Lisa Marie Presley. Of course, she's the only child of Elvis. She died of cardiac arrest, but she died in a similar fashion to the way that her father passed away. And could you imagine? She had lifelong trauma because she's the one that found her father dead at the age of 9 years old. And do you know they kept Elvis's body in that house for 3 days after that? Could you imagine the stench in that house?
Oh my God.
I mean, who does that, right?
Plus,
Okay,
Graceland isn't a big place. It's not like a huge mansion.
It's not as big as you think it is.
Yeah, that's what people say. Yeah,
I'm just saying. Imagine the stench. Anyway, it's been said that her final years were actually very sad. She was reportedly $3 million in debt when she died, and she had already gone through $100 million of her inheritance. And the thing that about her was the allegations they're already out there that she had developed over the years an opioid problem that might have been what contributed to her sudden death. But, when she got married to Michael Jackson, Priscilla was not very happy, nor was she quiet about that. She felt that Michael had an agenda. Lisa Marie said she wanted to save him. When she couldn't do it, they broke up 2 years later. But just all the trauma in her life. Her son also, last couple of years ago, lost his life via death by suicide. She never, really recovered from that. 4 failed marriages, and this husband that she was estranged from currently, she has teenage twins, and they were going back and forth. And he's like, "Oh, you're Elvis's daughter. You got money, and I want some." And this just sounds like a Lifetime movie. But
she was married to Nick Cage too.
Cage, Danny Keough. She was married to Michael, and this guy, somebody Norwood or something Wood, that she's estranged from now, who wants money, not so much. Now he's in. I think the best thing for them might be for them to go live with Priscilla, because this dude just, is looking for a payday and not having to work. But what's, and the one reason why a lot of people who just across, every racial, ethnic background talking about this, because if you think about it, at the end of the day, if it weren't for all the Black artists that Elvis stole from, there would be no Elvis. And that's why I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, I got you.
That's the reality of it. Okay, now
but I'm gonna say this in fairness, it wasn't just Elvis.
I know a lot of them did.
Dion, the list is long.
But Elvis was one of the main ones. I mean, look how he stole Hound Dog from Big Mama Thornton. So, okay, that's a whole other show. Okay, now I want to talk about the celebrity crime blotter. And of course, the DeBarge family, they are like the Black music industry version of the Kennedys. El DeBarge was arrested again this week on weapons and drug charges. He's out on bail. And the reason that he got stopped is because the tag on the car he was driving was expired, but El don't have a driver's license either. The cops found weapons. They found heroin paraphernalia. And, it's just so sad because you got this huge family, the DeBarge family, and so much talent, so much sadness, so much addiction.
Well, they said the weapon was this. What the
he had a baton.
Yeah, baton. The telescoping baton.
Yeah, and there was I forgot there was something else. Not just that there was something else in there, but when you're on the radar, you had to know you didn't have a license, and you had to know the tags were expired. So you know what, it's really sad because throughout his career, from the time DeBarge was together back in the 80s, so many people have tried to reach out to him and help him, but at the end of the day, you got to help yourself.
But I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this in fairness, the drug paraphernalia. Okay, dude, come on. But the baton, sometimes when you're in the car by yourself, you shouldn't have been driving without a license. Now, come on. But sometimes, you gotta. If you're a celebrity and you drive,
you gotta buck up.
Driver, you gotta
buck
something.
up. Yeah.
So maybe
you gotta buck up sometimes.
At least have you can't have a gun. Have the baton thing. Because it telescopes, you could put it in your pocket, you could put it in a purse, whatever. So, but still, dude, you didn't have a license. But go ahead.
Right, he had the wrong thing. Yeah, and then we want to talk about the forever. Another one who's really been going through it for years is Marvin Gaye III, in trouble with the law again. Now, say he allegedly physically assaulted his wife. I think her cousin. They had an argument. He and his wife have been having issues for years. He did go to the sheriff's station and turn himself in. He was booked on misdemeanor domestic violence and felony assault with a deadly weapon charge. He posted his own bail. It's a shame because he's never really done anything except live off of the proceeds of his father's estate. And there's a protective order against him. He can't go near the house or his family. And then when the cops went back to the house, they found guns. So.
Let me ask you, is he blood brother, sister to Nona?
No. Marvin Penske III is the manufactured baby that Anna Gordy Gay had with Marvin Gaye via her niece, Denise Gordy, mother of Bianca Lawson.
How Nona Gay fit in?
No, they're half siblings. Yeah, they have different, same father, different mothers. So, I don't know, how close they really are. And Tory Lanez, I gotta say, his family need to go somewhere and sit in the corner and fold the laundry with R. Kelly and Nick Cannon and all the rest of them, because now his family, his father is just foolish, and so is his wife. They said that they have now forgiven Meg Thee Stallion, and I say, forgive her for what? Your son was the one that shot her, so what? He better hope she forgives you. Okay. I mean, come on now. And his sentencing has been it was supposed to happen this month. Now it's not until March. I believe he should get deported. And to that, I just say, anybody care about Tory Lanez, his greedy daddy and his daddy greedy wife? I say, not me.
I guess LeBron James is still his fan. So go ahead.
Okay, well, honey, look, LeBron James put out House Party 3 yesterday. He didn't think about, Friday. He didn't think about that boy. That troll. I just want to remind you again, again, when we talk about Black History Month is coming in a couple of weeks and just really learning about the culture that we have created that has a global imprint. I just want to remind you on February the 24th, Roberta Flack, PBS American Masters documentary comes on 124. And then on the 27th, the legendary Roots crew will be in residence live on PBS. So help yourself and check it out. Roberta Flack is dealing with some health issues. She can no longer speak nor sing. So let's give her flowers while she yet lives. So I think that,
great music.
Yeah, and I hope they repeat it again throughout Black History Month, which I'm surprised they didn't wait, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm so ready. Yep. Okay, anyway, let's talk about Idris Elba. He did step away from acting, and we talked about this sometime last year because he wanted to really hone his skills at DJing. He DJ'd at Meghan and Harry's wedding, but now he's cooking, and he's developing a cooking show based on his family heritage, culture, and recipes. But here's a good thing about that: there is a bidding war for this show. So do you think it'll show up on Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, or Netflix? Well, I think that's actually pretty cool that he's in demand like that. And he is still going to in March, he'll be DJing at Coachella. So I am not mad.
And good for him. And he and his wife Sabrina are going to be on the cover of Ebony as well. So good stuff happening for Idris.
I think this is his time. And now we're going to go to the dumb donkeys of the week. And the first one would be, we don't talk about Kanye. He went from being missing, and now allegedly he's married one of his former employees. This girl's 27. I ain't saying she a gold digger, but we want prenup. Yeah. But the other thing is that he said the reason why he got married, allegedly, and she does look a little bit like him, is that he does not believe in sex before marriage. So he's got more important things to deal with than slapping skins. He need to get, a mental health checkup from the neck up, but it is what it is. And I want to talk about Taye Diggs. I was really starting to like him. Well, no, I liked him as an actor more, but I did not like his character Harper, because Harper was selfish and narcissistic in Best Man Holiday. But it got great reviews. You talked last week, Tommy B, how it basically set records for Peacock. And when he had hooked up with Omarion's baby mama, April Jones, who's claimed to fame as reality TV. They got married less than 6 months ago, but word from the curb is they've already split. So people are wondering, is this a stunt because Taye Diggs is probably hotter than he's ever been right now? Or, if they have split up, I hope, he was, she's everything, she's the best thing in my life and she's fun. And she's, they were like, happy like Slappy White, but now that may not be the case now. So we'll see what happens. And lastly, we'll talk about Diddy. Diddy Plus 7, this alleged new reality show with his kids. So I had to count them. I had to count the kids, y'all. I'm sorry, but
stop. Go ahead.
We got Justin, we got Christian with Kim Porter, we got the twins by Kim Porter, we got the oops baby named Chance, who's the same age as the twins. Then you've got, I said Christian, you've got Quincy, who's actually his half son, that's Albie Shore's father, and then the new baby might make 7, that we know of. But I just say, anybody care? Puffy, go somewhere and sit down. He's trying so hard to be relevant now to me. It's like he's trying too hard, like Ray J, who had the nerve to threaten Tyrese, and Tyrese could knock him down in one punch because Tyrese is at least a foot taller than Ray J. But those are my dumb donkeys for the week.
Good stuff. Hey, just one more thing, and I'm going to go into what I'm watching. On the Taye Diggs thing, which I did not know. I'm not always in the loop on this stuff. You know more about it than I do, but apparently there was some stuff that Taye said in his past about dating black women that he had to overcome. So
well,
apparently he's overcome that and moved on.
Yeah, he's overcome it with a 27-year-old who turned him the hell out. That's all I got to say.
So apparently this may have helped him overcome some trauma. But anyway, hey, again, when it comes down to just some good stuff happening on TV, man, I definitely want to this week, actually on January 13th. Remember the show I was talking about, Hunters, with Al Pacino?
Yes, I saw that advertised.
It is the executive producer for Hunters on Amazon is Jordan Peele. He's the reason why Hunters happened, because it would not have happened without Jordan Peele putting the money up.
But give him 5 on it. Give that brother 5 on it.
They were going to do 5 seasons. It's only going to be 2 seasons now. The second season is out now. I've already binged it. And as a matter of fact, it's only versus 10 episodes. It's only 8 episodes. It's a good watch. I mean, Jordan Peele, again, responsible for the series. He's executive producer. Among the cast, you've got Al Pacino, you've got Jennifer Jason Leigh, a lot of up and coming, very, very diverse cast, newcomers. And it deals with a team of Nazi hunters on a path to find Hitler in 1979. And it's a trip because, it's got all that 1979 flavor, music,
polyester,
and it's on Prime Video. Again, season 1 is 10 episodes. Season 2 is 8 episodes. And let me say this, it is very, very different than what I expected. And
why so?
Because I didn't expect the end of it, and I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to spoil it for you, to be as deep as it became, especially between episode 7 and 8. And you have to kind of watch the whole thing, and you kind of have to you have to watch the first season. You can't just say, well, damn, I'm just going to watch season 2 and no, you got to watch and understand where Al Pacino fits into all this. And then, of course, it ends, and it's a limited series. They've already said it's not going to happen. Any other third season, that's not going to happen. I don't see it happening. I think definitely Jordan Peele was in a different place. You got to keep in mind this was 3 years ago. So and a lot of the delay happened because of COVID. So they would have come out with this show maybe like a year, maybe two, but we're talking the third year after the show debuted that it comes back. So it really is an interesting watch. A lot of historical stuff, but it's violent. It's kind of like Tarantino, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Where if you remember the movie Inglourious Bastards, the way they kill people. I mean,
what about Get Shorty?
Yeah, well, no, this is more like if you think about it's kind of on the edge, but it is Amazon Prime, so it can only go but so far. The other thing I do want to say, congrats to the Golden Globe winners, Angela Bassett, supporting actress for Wakanda Forever, Quinta Brunson, best actress for Abbott Elementary, and Zendaya for best actress on Euphoria.
You forgot somebody.
No, I'm not done yet, Tanya B. Can I finish that?
Oh, that usually I'm saying that, but yeah, please do.
Tyler James Williams, everybody hates Chris, supporting actor on Abbott, and of course Eddie Murphy, who won the Cecil B. DeMille Award. And you and I were talking about the fact that I know you watch a lot of these award shows. You wait until the YouTube clips and the post clips, but see the Golden Globe is meant to be watched live because it's how everybody's kind of intimately sat. It's
they're
kind
intimately
of
drinking. That's what they
right.
do.
But my point
drinking.
is like versus like the Academy Awards, it's everybody's spread out. It's a close, so it's kind of like you got that relationship where people come out. Now Ricky Gervais was on a whole level. They got scared of Ricky Gervais. But what's his name? The host this year,
Jared Carmichael.
He just didn't have the rapport with the crowd. Of course, he said what he said in the beginning, which was definitely on point, but he never had the rapport where he could, you expected him to be able to go out and talk to the people, be in the crowd. They were like, keep your ass up on stage. Don't come. And he did not.
Basically, and you know what else?
We don't want you out here.
He didn't hold the audience. If you're on a show that's live and you got to keep telling people to be quiet, they're not checking for you. Wait, that out of this whole thing, Tom Hanks created a new drink. It's champagne and Coca-Cola. That's how bored these people were.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Well,
but it was just
he's not talented enough to have shock comedy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah, he's not that kind of comedian. Right.
Like Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy did it when Eddie did that joke, and I'm gonna let you. When he did the joke about when he dropped the Will Smith.
But the timing,
wife's name out of your mouth. Right. But yeah, it's just like
Eddie has the timing. Eddie has the timing. Jared hasn't gotten there yet.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
And it's how Eddie led you up to that time.
Oh yes,
you didn't see that coming because he actually said, "I'm gonna tell you your things to be successful in life." Flip the switch on.
Because I'm waiting for something serious, and then he hit it, and I was like, that's hilarious.
You see, that's a gift. And Jared, like I said, Jared's not there yet.
And one last thing about Eddie, and I'm gonna say this: did Eddie not marry the whitest white woman of all time?
I'm gonna defend Eddie.
Let me say, I have no problem. But I'm just saying,
I have one issue with
when
that
When I saw her, she's kind of like Tom Brady white woman.
She's pasty Irish. But I'm just saying. But no, here's the thing. I just want to say this. Tracy Morgan said Eddie, your pullout game is off. But here's my thing. Nick Cannon got 12 kids. Eddie got 10.
Yeah.
Aside from the fact that Nick Cannon's just an idiot, but I'm sorry, but I'm like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
Eddie didn't marry one baby mama.
I'm just saying, it's like typically the white women you see who marry black men, they have some hipness or they kind of in the
Eddie's
culture.
a recluse. He doesn't want anybody who's hip and anybody. All they do is go get coffee.
If you listen to Eddie comedians, he tell you why he doing that now.
Okay, well, don't tell me. I'm gonna listen to the comedy. Don't spoil it for me. I'm gonna go find.
Remember Raw? Go back to Raw, right?
I gotta go back to Raw.
Go back to he wearing the purple leather. When you listen to it,
that's Raw.
You understand why he would.
Boom, foo, foo. Boom, foo, foo.
Oh Lord.
Boom, foo, foo.
Eddie said he has been robbed enough.
He and Tay Diggs. I got you. Okay. Hey, y'all, real quick, just some things, some leftovers, and then we'll get ready to close the show out. Y'all crazy. Just a couple of leftovers we didn't get to on the show. Freeform has renewed apparently Grownish, so Grownish is back for a 6th season. So give it up.
Seven.
Actually, they say this is the 6th. So
I heard 7.
Yeah.
7's well, okay. I'm sorry.
Actually, getting kind of interesting about with the young man doing his thing.
Yeah, with the brother. Yeah, he's there. He's more visible on the show than Yara Shahadi is.
Yeah. So it's been renewed. Ocho Cinco apparently has proposed to, and I don't watch the show, but Sherelle Rosado from Selling Tampa, the reality show. So Ocho Cinco is now engaged to be married. Ocho Cinco. Congrats to tennis star Naomi Osaka on her pregnancy. So she's decided to kind of pull out of the Australian Open. So kudos to her. Let me give her some also, and no surprise, Abbott Elementary has been renewed for a 3rd season. They had already just gotten the 2nd season renewed, so 3rd. And I'm kind of sad about this because I talked about the show. I really liked, because I like this kind of humor. It's just my kind of, everything's trash has been canceled. They decided to cancel it from Freeform. Just as I was liking the show.
You know what? They weren't ready for that jelly. Because I talked about
it was hard. It was hard for Freeform. So I'm like,
the world ain't ready for what she was throwing out there.
No, right? They weren't ready for that.
Freeform wasn't ready.
She was a little too honest. I said, "Whoa, good
it was honest from the start."
Tommy B, you and I talked about that.
When she woke up on the very first episode, at the beginning of the episode, and took the dude down to get the Plan B, I said, "How long this go?" She took it. She said, "Hey, let's go down to," because I guess she lived in a loft. They went right down to the drugstore and said, "We need to get this Plan B right now." I said, "How long this gonna be on Freeform?"
A black man ain't ready to date no woman like that. That's a big much right there.
Did you watch how many episodes of the show did you watch?
I watched all of them. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
You pretty sure? Or you think?
That's all I got on the leftover. You got any leftovers, Tanya B?
One thing I do want to say is, 5 on it. We don't watch award shows, but I think this is long overdue. And it's a shame that the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Awards are not broadcast. But Bobby McFerrin, don't worry, be happy. Why'd they wait till Diana Ross is the only living Supreme left to give them a Lifetime Achievement Award? But I was surprised, and wait a minute, I said the Supremes. But wait, there's more. The only one I think that I was surprised about that I think is long overdue is Slick Rick the Ruler. I am not mad at that.
So and of course, that's the Grammys, right? Is that the Grammys?
Yeah, and of course Nile Rodgers. Yeah.
Slick Rick, man.
Definitely. I ain't watched none of them.
The Ruler.
Look, I tried to just watch to see what kind of rapport people have with the crowd. Okay. And if the rapport is not there, it's just like, I'm gone. I'm not going to watch because it's painful. It was kind of painful watching Gerard Carmichael.
I just don't care. Just don't care.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Tanya B, you got anything else on the leftover? You got any leftover stuff?
I talked about the crime blotter. I got to throw this in because, again, Philly people, Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf has finally pardoned Meek Mill, who's been on probation and parole most of his life, going back to his juvenile record. And it's so funny. He did clean up his act. He said he's going to put out more music. He's become really a philanthropist in Philadelphia and outside of the Philly area. But after all of that good stuff happens, why did he go to a professional fight, and get into a fight? So Meek Mill, I hope.
Lord.
I just really hope that this is not the face of things to come.
Who he is. He is who he is.
Hey, do y'all accept 50 Cent's Fitty his apology to Megan? Do you accept? Do you think he's sincere?
No. He shouldn't have never said it in the first place. Man, nothing to do with him.
Right, exactly. That's like Meek. That's like Tory Lane's father blaming Beyonce for the Meg Thee Stallion verdict.
What?
That's right. I heard the judge told the man father he shot somebody. She didn't shoot.
That's what I'm saying. He shot somebody.
Yeah.
You shoot somebody, there's a good chance you are going to jail.
Yeah.
You will not pass go or get $200. Tommy B, what you cooking for Martin Luther King dinner tomorrow?
He didn't even have reasonable doubt on his side. Dude, you shot somebody.
That's what I'm saying. Speaking of that,
every time I come in the kitchen,
You in the kitchen. What's cooking, Tanya B?
All right, Tanya B, this is going to be the last thing. You go ahead. Tell them what you're cooking.
I'm just going to cook one of Dr. King's favorite things, and he loved fried chicken. So now we got some garlic, lemon butter fried chicken we're making. And instead of, we got some sauteed green beans. And I think I'm going to do some potato salad, or maybe I'll do some brown rice and quinoa. We're trying to be healthy, but still, honor the traditions of his favorite foods. But I'm telling y'all, I'm getting my Super Bowl menu together. Howard, everybody else out there, I'm telling y'all, it's gonna split your wig. So that's what I'm making. Some chicken for the Kang, chicken a la Kang, but not the kind.
Chicken a la Kang. That's good stuff. Yeah, and you know what? You'll be making that Super Bowl for Kansas City and Philadelphia. I guarantee it.
I believe it.
I'm gonna guarantee. Plus, and just a fun fact, there was a place, and I don't think it's still open, but if you're from ATL, and shout me out on social media if you know what I'm talking about. There was a place near Auburn. This is where Dr. King would eat all the time. It was called Deacon Burton. It was a cafe, and I had a chance to eat there back in the 90s. And they served the food. They use those, how the lunch trays, the plastic lunch trays,
cafeteria style.
Cafeteria. That's how they would serve you. So they'd have King's favorite. They used to cook for Dr. King. And they had fried chicken, all his favorites, and I don't think definitely he's passed. It's been a long time. He definitely served that community well. But if you remember that, just because it's King Holiday Weekend, I just want to say for all my natives, shout out to old school Deacon Burton back in the day. Yeah. All right, Vi, what you got, man? You ready for us? I know you're ready.
I am ready.
All right, let's go ahead and do it.
I'm here to preach to you today.
Here's your inspirational moment with Vi.
Fine, go ahead and do it. You don't need no music, man. Go ahead.
No matter how bad your body feels, the word will always say, by his stripes, you are healed. No matter how bad your bank book look, the word will always say, my God shall supply all your needs according to his riches in glory by Christ Jesus. Don't settle for the meager existence the words say you can have. Say hold of what the words say you can have. Centering your attention on the eternal truth of God, and look not to the things which are seen. After all, they're subject to change. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 16. Through our bodies are dying, our spirits are being renewed every day. In other words, what the world promised you, if he give it to you, you lose it in a day. What God promised you, you will always have. Stay truth in the faith and start worrying about the things. Start worrying about money. Your job, hey, put the word in faith. You'll be taken care of. Amen.
Hallelujah.
Oh, yeah, Vi. Go ahead. Got choked up in the middle of it, too. I hear you, Vi. I saw you getting all choked up. But, Vi, don't forget, y'all, go to Castropolis.net. All G Podcast is there. Plus, follow us at This Is the G.
Before you leave.
This is the G. I am. Okay. Can I? Yeah, I'll do it. Go ahead and ask a question, man. Go ahead.
What happened to the move about the house party? Anybody had the word on it?
It just came out Friday. It'll be on a small screen in a week.
Wow.
Well, hit us up. I have not. Let me tell you. From what I hear, like the people who remember the original house party don't appreciate the new house party. The people who are kind of void, if you didn't grow up, because you got to keep in mind, and I'm not sure what year, 1993 was like 30 years ago.
It came out in 90, so yeah.
So that's 33 years ago the house party came out. So a lot of folks, the people who just don't remember it, who weren't born, different generation, I think appreciate this new one more than the people who probably grew up with the original house party. Because the original house party caught everybody off guard. We didn't expect it to be as good as it was. It definitely changed the culture. Or it had an impact on the culture versus this being a remake. A lot of people didn't want it to be remade. They didn't want a house party to be remade.
They say the original is you never. It's hard to outdo the original.
Yeah, but I'll give it to him for giving it a shot. It's a different generation.
Right.
Different generation.
I'll give it a 7, and I can't go any higher.
Is it the story or is it the actors? Which one is it?
I think of LeBron. I think a lot of people are hating on it because LeBron and Maverick are involved in it. But I'll leave it at that.
No, it's not. It's just the premise.
I think the critics are. But
see, again, they don't understand it because that's not their culture. So I wouldn't even listen to them.
Yeah.
Well, I got to go see it and make a judgment on myself. Then I got to go.
Well, wait till next week. Eat at home. I'll send you some popcorn. You can enjoy it in the comfort of
It
your
ain't gonna
home.
come on, Tanya B. Don't be gone
No,
that fast.
that's the benefits
Okay.
of being
You're wrong.
retired. With the military,
Okay.
You're wrong for that.
with the military
All right.
discount, it costs just as much to rent it when you go to the military discount. So
There you
Like
go.
I said, it'll be on the small screen.
All right, y'all. Tanya B, thank you so much. Be safe out there in your travels. Vi, be safe. And if you're watching, of course, y'all caught up in the good old NFL wild card weekend. I hope your team wins. Good luck to your team. If your team lost, better luck next year. I know I'm patting myself on the back saying better luck next year. So with that, peace, power to the people. Episode 160 is in the can, and we are out of here. Peace.
Peace. Go
Holla.
Falcons. Go Falcons.
You know it.
Go
Next year.
Eagles. The who? Falcons. Who are they?
Hey, we're gonna win the Super Bowl
Who?
next year. Y'all just don't understand. Watch.
Okay.
Mm.
And I got a bridge in Brooklyn. Tommy B is never time.
Good
Tommy
stuff.
B's blonde. Okay.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye, y'all.
Peace, people.